Tonight, rapper Tory Lanez breaking his silence in his first ever broadcast interview from behind bars since being found guilty of shooting Grammy winner Megan Thee Stallion in the foot outside a party in 2020.
I've never been violent towards a woman. I would never hit a woman, let alone shoot a woman.
Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, spoke to NBC News from California Men's Colony, a prison where he's 3 years into a 10-year sentence after being found guilty on 3 felony counts, including assault with a semi-automatic firearm.
There is definitely a very big misconception about me that seems to the public as I'm this monster. And I feel like I was catapulted into this poster child for the unprotection of Black women. And it's just so unlike me. And I've never really had a chance to express that. But you can look at my criminal record. I don't have one. I never had one. And I feel like, that connotation that I would do anything of this monstrous proportion is just, it's completely incorrect and it's wrong.
Lanez declined to testify during his 2022 trial.
Do you regret not taking the stand?
I think if I would have taken the stand, the verdict would have definitely been very different.
The rapper's legal team filed it.
Tory Lanez, rapper, artist, had a good run. He's in jail now. He's been in there for 3 years now. He had a big story about, he was accused and charged with shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot, I believe. And his life has been turned upside down. He's in jail. They try to appeal it, and nope, he's still in there. Now he's speaking out about it, finally speaking out. I think the biggest thing about the Tory Lanez case was, why didn't he testify? If my ass is on the line, I'm gonna testify. I'm gonna testify. I'm gonna use all of everything in my power to testify and tell the truth. Yes, well, they probably brought up things in your past and all blah, blah, blah for sure, but why didn't you testify? Look, this whole situation is just really crazy, right? But that's what happened, though. He didn't testify. People thought he was guilty because he didn't want to testify. That, that goes out in the media. Everybody's on Megan Thee Stallion's side because she's a Black female. At that time, it was all about the women. I can't say if he did it or not. That's not me, but I'm just going off what just the environment. The environment was against him. Megan Thee Stallion was a hot rapper. She had a lot in her corner. She's a woman. She's Black. Make it look like abusive Black man abusing a Black woman. There was a lot of inconsistencies in the case, but he's in jail. This is why when you make it to the top and you're making a lot of money, you have to understand that you can come back even faster. That's what this story is all about, because he was hot. He was on everything. He making money. He doing different plays, independent, making money. He was the one that really started off doing like the shows and stuff during COVID. Innovator, right? Putting his, I think he believed it, put his album on crypto. Just innovator. He was on the top. But you always got to remember, man, people see you being successful, they want you to come down too. Oh, you successful because not because of me? Oh yeah, we cheering for him to lose. And I believe that a lot of people were cheering for him to go to jail. Nobody's heard from him now. But now he's coming out. Well, I think the big story from that case is that he didn't speak out. He didn't testify. Why? And I think that's why he's probably going to come out and start talking. But it's just very curious that I have about this whole case is that when I look at it, it's just like, you're maintaining your innocence. He didn't have a track record, but that doesn't mean you can't do wrong. But he didn't have a criminal record. He still got 10 years. Okay. But the biggest question of this case is like, why he didn't say nothing?
Which was denied in November, but his team is continuing to fight with plans to file multiple appeals next week, this time with the California Supreme Court, in one claiming newly discovered evidence that they weren't provided during Lanez's 2022 trial, including hundreds of pages of medical records for Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete, which they allege raise questions about the fragments removed from her foot after surgery. His team argues that the fragments were not provided ahead of trial and that this was a violation of due process.
And we didn't have that chance. Or perhaps we could have questioned the doctors differently when they were on stand to impeach them, because it does look suspicious.
But in the appeal denied in November, the court did address the fragments, ruling that the surgeon's testimony was, quote, more than sufficient to prove great bodily injury on Pete. Proving something like this on appeal is tough.
This is a really, really difficult appellate argument for defendants to prove, because they have to show if the evidence actually came into court, the jury would have found differently. It's an uphill battle, and it's something that often torpedoes any defense appellate argument.
The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office and representatives for Megan Thee Stallion have not responded to NBC News' request for comment.
I believe not only that I was wrongfully convicted, but the amount of new evidence that has emerged since that trial, I think, has been overwhelming.
What has life been like in prison for the last couple of years?
Truthfully, I've done my best to keep my head above water, but mentally, I've gone through trauma that I sometimes even struggle with, because I never imagined myself dealing with things that I would have to deal with. I've been stabbed 17 times.
To be a rapper that's never been in any crime, to go to jail and get stabbed 17 times, damn, 17 times, and then still be able to smile about it afterwards and say, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. 17 times, bro. Let that marinate a little bit. 17 times? You in prison, bro, just trying to just get up out of here. And you got stabbed 17 times? That's how fast you can fall from grace. But your comeback gonna be the best. But when you need situations like that, you just gotta pray to God and say, why am I here? And figure out what the purpose is. Every part of your life that you're in is a purpose, bro. Whether that's jail, whether that's, whatever, whether these situations. But I just always tell the youth, when you make it, if you popular, celebrity, athlete, whatever, people know who you are, there's a lot of people cheering for you. But times that by 100, and those are the amount of people that's cheering for you to fail. But to be in jail and to be at the height of your career and go to jail because of this, and next you know you're getting stabbed 17 times, some people can't go through that. Some people won't be on this earth if they went through that.
Almost lost my life.
If you could say something to Megan Thee Stallion today, what would it be?
Nothing.
I think
don't say
that
nothing.
I wouldn't say something directly to her. I would like that moment to happen in person. We've both gone through a lot. There's this connotation that, like, I share this hatred for her, but I don't. I genuinely passed that. I'm at a place of healing in my life. I'm at a place of taking accountability for the things that I did wrong. And when I talk about my case, I don't want it to be taken as me coming at her, because it's not that. I'm just asking for somebody in the system to look at my case and look at the evidence and ask if this was fair.
And with that, Chloe Malas joins us now on set. So, Chloe, Tory Lanez is also seeking a pardon from Governor Gavin Newsom.
That's right. His legal team has filed the necessary paperwork, and it is before the governor now. So they're seeking either a pardon where his criminal record will be wiped clean, he would be released from prison, or to have his sentence commuted, meaning that the time he has served is sufficient, and release him, but that doesn't change his criminal record. As for when this could happen, the governor typically does these twice a year, so this could happen before the new year.
All right.
Yeah, don't hold your breath on that. That's not gonna be a good look for Gavin Newsom. He ain't gonna do that. Even if there is evidence that he not gonna do that. He ain't gonna help a black brother out, especially something like this where you got accused for shooting a female. That's not a good look. I don't think that's gonna happen. But hey, man, prayers to Tory, man. Hopefully you get up out of there when it's time for you to get up out of there. But this is just a lesson to everybody, man. Like, Just because you're on top don't mean you can't get touched. Don't mean you can't be pulled down. You're not untouchable. That's why you got to stay out of trouble, stay away from everybody, just do your thing and make your money. Go home. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. As always, going to keep this thing rocking. Go get her. Patreon coming soon. Daily show coming soon. We working. Just be safe, man. Make your money and go home and enjoy the people that want to be around you. For real.